A true master of the bass, Oscar Stagnaro brings a lifetime of musical excellence to the world of jazz and Latin music. With 6 Grammy Awards, 9 nominations, he has a storied career that spans the globe. His innovative approach and deep cultural roots have made him one of the most sought after musicians and educators on the East Coast. From his groundbreaking work at Berklee College of Music to co authoring the Essential Latin Bass book, Oscar has left a tremendous mark on music education and performance. Today, we're going to dive into his remarkable journey and his passion for rhythm and groove. Oscar, good to see you.
Thanks, Abe. This is a great opportunity and good to see you. After all, you said like 18 years?
Yeah, only 18 years,
Only 18. Wow.
the amount of time it takes to join the army.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, just to give everybody a little bit of context, Oscar was my teacher for a Latin jazz ensemble at Berklee almost 20 years ago. He's a wonderful educator, and he's renowned, in the world of music education. So, Oscar, the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was mentoring a young musician. You've had so many students over the years. What's the most important thing you think someone getting into this business should know?
Well, my idea of teaching probably is not as conventional as it looks like with the books and so on. But the first advice that I give is try to preserve the student's identity. Besides all the information, the music, theory, and so on. But I mean, for me, it's important so the student will be on a space that he creates his own way of playing, but with all the information that we give him. But I always have that in my mind. You always have to have your heart or your interior voice all the way to all the years that I have been here. I'm from Peru, but I still listen to Peruvian music every day, for example. And that will be eventually show in your playing, even though you don't want to do it. So probably that's what many of the more remarkable players like Abe Ovadia and so on that are coming from Latin America to the US have done. So they still preserve the roots. And yeah, so it's important. And I will give that advice to the teachers in this case because all the like the information that you get now at YouTube and so on is so much, but you could be lost in that ocean of information.
There's
So
too much, I would
then,
say.
yeah, it's too much and it's good and bad information. So you don't know as a student, you probably don't know yet what's good and what's bad. You try to copy somebody that you like, and that could be the end of your career as well because you don't know how to a bass player's role is within a band. So that's another subject that is important to notate is the diversity. So one thing is identity, the other thing is diversity in your playing. So the more opportunities that you will have to play with different bands, the more when you play different types of music as well. And
Yeah,
that
it's such an
involves, yeah,
important part to have your own voice on the instrument. It's something that goes overlooked because everyone just wants to get views on their
yeah,
videos or likes, that sort of thing. But you make it a conscious decision to really express to the student, I want you to be true to yourself.
yeah,
And
definitely,
do you tell
definitely.
them that right away, or is it something that maybe they have to be studying for a little bit?
No, actually, I always ask, what are you looking for me? I would say, okay, well, in Latin music, I like this. Is okay. What about your music? What are you from? What do you like about your music? Are you playing your own music? So then they say, oh man, you know what, this and that. And, in your country, which probably Malaysia or something, is there any type of music that you could preserve? So at least you have another card to add to your repertoire.
Yeah, no,
So
that's beautiful.
yeah, things that example like for me like 3/4 6/8 is very common and it's different from Afro-Cuban 6/8. So when you play Afro-Cuban music with that different approach, when you play, people say, "What are you playing? What kind of 6/8 are you playing?" Because you're putting something else, and that's essentially what you are bringing to the table. When I play Latin jazz, it's the same thing. I I'm a follower of Sal Cuevas and Bobby Valentin and things like that. But then you add your own thing, small things that makes a difference.
and you take the influences like from everywhere. I see the Jaco Pastorius
Oh,
background you have, and I know you've covered a lot of John Coltrane songs, so
oh
you
yeah,
take from everywhere.
I take a little bit of everything. And by the way, this poster is a great one. This is 1981. We
Wow.
went to see him at the Blue Note actually in New York with a group that I was playing. And he was playing first bass and then he played piano as well.
I like
And
how it
I
says
went,
shows at 1:30 a.m.
yeah, yeah. So when I saw him playing piano, I said, man, that's the cue. That's why he's a super musician and he plays all types of instruments. That's another thing,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know. So
I also wanted to ask you about the life of a musician. Everyone sees the on Instagram all the you're on the airplane or you're in the hotel or you're in front of the stage, but there's a lot of misconceptions about being a musician, the life of a musician, whether it's financial or just the grind of it, the sacrifice. What do you think a misconception people have about the business, the music business?
well, probably they think that you're walking into a castle, you know, that is full of gold. And so for music is a field, I should say, that is the most unrewarding one. Once, in this case, after school, because you end up with no gigs, you know, no work. You get out of school, you know this better than me, probably. So when you get out, it's like, okay, now it's the time to face reality. And this is, whoops, where am I? You know,
Hmm.
so that's why I'm always conscious about that, and I try to provide the students with the tools, mental tools, especially to be aware of that. So from the beginning, is what are you gonna do when you finish Berkeley? You know, what do you want to play? Are you performer? Are you composer? You want to produce? You want to manage, and so on. Now it's a wide array of different little areas that you could go into music. Before was only performance. That's the only way that you made a living in
Hmm.
performance or arranging, then producing. But now it's so much stuff around that you have to really focus on what your heart tells you, you know. But at the same time, you know, music is like for at least the bass. If you don't play the bass one day, next day you notice that you didn't play it. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. So you
Same with
like
guitar too, same.
yeah, yeah. So it's you have to really love music, and you have to have passion for it. You have to breathe music, even though sometimes you know you have to fight with a lot of people wherever you live to be able to do that. But at the end, is for me is like it enriches your spirit in a different way, and you're not like a 9 to 5 person, you know, that you are waiting for 5 p.m. to finish a gig.
Yeah,
The
it takes a
opposite.
long time too. I mean, I graduated Berkeley when I was, 21. I'm 37 now, so maybe now I start to feel like I'm like 16 years. I'm like, okay, I'm living the life I want to live. It takes a long time. People don't
Yeah.
realize.
So you went to school with my son Paulo. He also graduated in 2009,
Yeah,
probably. When
yeah.
do you? Yeah.
Same year. Same
Yeah,
year.
yeah. So he's 38 now, and then he's playing with Ricky Martin, but also he was, you know, it was a hard time for him when he moved to New York and so on. But then it's a matter of you are strong-minded and you know what you want, you get it.
You got to be strong.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. We before we actually started recording, I asked you about the six string bass and everything, and it's such a unique instrument. And I know you're always working on new things. You have to keep up with, all the students are giving you these
Oh,
new things that they're working on. What are you exploring now? Like, any ideas on the bass or musically, technique? Like what's exciting you now on the bass?
well, I have a couple of projects for next year. We're gonna do a WGBH show. It's Channel 2 in Boston, and I propose to do the music of Hermeto Pascual. Yeah, he's bass player in Tiberes, which is a fantastic guy, and he uses a six string in this case. Okay, by going back a little bit, when I got the six string, actually I moved from the four to the five. My brother Ramon, he sent me a five-string Warwick, and then I was, not smart enough to bring a 5 week tour, two basses, my old Fender and the Warwick. So I was carrying all over the Europe. all these things. Awful. So the first gig in Greece, we do the sound check. So I play with Paquito de Rivera. So I finished the sound check and they went to backstage. So then I start trying the 5 string, for the first time. And then Paquito came back from the back room and said, "Man, you have to use that bass tonight." I said, "What?" Man, so I usually forget it. So I was playing all the wrong notes, and so but I had fun. So I stayed with that bass since probably that was 95 to 2006. So like for 15 years, I record the book with that bass. With
Did you have to unlearn when you switched to it, or you felt like it was just adding more?
adding more, but I usually play the 4 and 5 and 6 with like 4 string. I mean, I like that range,
Yeah.
But then I use low strings, and then the 6 string I'll mainly use for chords. I know a little guitar, so I play some chords, that's
I
what
was
for
watching a
me.
video of you
Yeah.
using the 6 string and you're improvising like a guitarist. I was like, whoa, I loved it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm trying not the high end, the high range in the 6 string for me is this is a little bit. It's like colors, you cannot use red for the whole picture, So I use a little bit of that. And
No, it's
anyway, so
beautiful.
yeah, but still I'm working on it. I start practicing again, like scales and arpeggios and things like that because I can. But mainly, this is all concentrated for composition or for performing. When you play, you have to know all your notes and so on, but then also know the texture possibilities of a 6 string, which is great. Yeah,
Yeah, it
but I mean,
gives you
you gotta be
something else.
able. Sometimes it's hard for people that start on the 6 string and they don't relate to 4 string concept. So you have to go, 4, 5, and then 6. That's what I think it should happen. But in this case, like I'm saying, with their method of music, that's what the exploration is now. So it's the interpretation of the music is more angular. So it plays different scales, different intervals, and that's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. And you've
Yeah.
played with so many people. You mentioned, your relationship with Paquito de Rivera and, playing with all these people over the years. Has anyone that you've worked with made you have to look in that moment, like change your way of thinking completely, or really saying, "Oh, I need to focus in a different way now"? Anyone like that come to mind?
Not really. When people hires you, they know what you're able to do. And
Got
they're
it.
not gonna hire me to play like Anthony Jackson because Anthony Jackson is only one guy. So you have to put what you can bring to enhance the whole band. And then for as a bass player role, you have to keep in mind that you gotta with your bass lines, you have to make people sound better.
Yeah.
That's even if you have to play whole notes, that's fine.
Yeah,
So
you're
you
the
have
support. You're the
yeah.
support.
So you have to know your role, and then like when you listen to different types of music, like Brazilian or Latin American jazz, R&B, then you have starting to get a different musical taste. So that's what happens. You know how to accompany a Brazilian singer playing bossa nova, or you know how to play like a Iraqueres type of music or R&B and so on. So you have to really know and then nail the style.
I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you another question about Latin music. Um, there's so many variations of rhythms. I don't even have to,
Yeah.
there's
No, I know that they exist. Yeah.
I'm not just talking about bolero. I'm talking about 3-2-2-3. All
Oh
these.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you think people do you do you ever kind of feel like I wish more people understood the specifics you have to understand to play these rhythms? I mean, you really have to know rhythm on such a high
Yes.
level.
So I advise also to play percussion. I play a little congas. I know the basic. I play the guiro, and also in Brazilian music, I play the tamborin, the pandero. Peruvian music, I play the cajon and so on. But Venezuelan, I try to play maracas because the bass parts will come out of those rhythms.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so it's important also, and then also in this case, playing guitar, how to stroke the rhythms that helps, and then the piano also, because some styles are created with the guitar, some are with the piano. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
personal, oh, the identity of the style comes from one of those two instruments. Also the harp, so it's important that you are aware of it. And of course, you have to listen a lot of, like, go back to the 18 something to Cuban music, listen to danzas, danzones, to understand what timba is. Because if you just listen to timba, you don't understand how did it evolve, how was the development.
Yeah.
And
The Latin rhythms, it's truly it's not, I wouldn't say it's a subgenre of, it's its own, the Latin
it's
it's
vocabulary. Yeah, you have to understand the rhythmic and melodic vocabulary of
right.
each of the Cuban music styles because they all have their own vocabulary,
Yeah, Oscar, I
but
also,
they are all related.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I was kind of curious too. We talked about you really have to be strong-minded to pursue this, and that did, you've been at Berkeley for a long time. You had to, go through some things in life to get to that place, and and still be there to this day. And you've gotten the opportunity, we were talking about in your bio, these Grammys, these nominations. There's so much to be grateful for. I'm sure sometimes when you're at night, you probably pinch yourself, and if you don't, maybe I'll remind you
All
today.
the time.
But looking back now, what are you most grateful for, if there's one thing or a couple things?
From Berkeley,
No, just in general in your
in
music
general.
career. Yeah.
Well, when I grew up in Peru, I have a lot of friends that helped me out to understand what music is, theory, harmony, and then gave me the opportunity for my first recordings. Of course, I remember when I first recorded was a jingle, and it was like a tuna brand called Compass. And we, in that time, I'm talking about 1975, 1974. So the whole band was there. So you record with, the whole, like, 10 horns and percussion, everything. And the chart was a jingle that had only one stop in the middle of the second page. It was like a 3 pages. So I could read the chord symbols, boing. But then I didn't do the stop. And then all the musicians look at me like, what? So, so I felt so bad. Then my friend, the drummer, he stayed there, and then we just punching the stop on beat one. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So, after that, I said, man, this is serious. So you got to take music serious. And that's, for me, that was a wake up call, because by ear I could play. I was working in a nightclub playing rock for like 2 years, playing like 6 nights a week, like 9 to 2 a.m. So that I will have the endurance and I have the creativity, but my reading and understanding of music was zero.
I'm
So
sure you
then,
wouldn't trade that though. You wouldn't trade the
no,
experience you gained on the
no, no, no,
nightclubs.
no. Yeah, that was great. Because I really learned, to have the right baseline on the right spot or create it right away. So that part, and I'm very thankful for that. Then on all the opportunities that I had in Peru for recording, I did a lot of recording for like singers and so on. So I really appreciate of that. Then also when I moved here, and I still remember the guy that I first talked to him in a music store. It was called Pampalons here in Masal. And then I went and I started talking English. I thinking that I could talk English. And the guy said, I don't understand a word what you're saying. Okay. So next day I came back with my dictionary, and I said, okay, this. Okay.
Mhm.
And then, or wrote the word. So then I still know this guy. So he helped me out a lot as well, just to gain confidence.
Yeah, you
This is
need the
a
people to help you
yeah.
too,
Oh yeah. So through the years, I always have a lot of people that has helped me out that I still keep in touch with them. At Berkeley, Rich Appleman as well. He gave me opportunity to teach at Berkeley and then to develop the Latin courses that they actually, like 10 years of that experience. Then I wrote the Latin-based book. So I'm
Yeah.
really helpful. I'm really grateful for a lot of people. And then also my wife, of course, she's the main support. Yeah.
No, family is super important. Has there ever been, like, if I asked you, you've had so many performances over the years, some of them stand out for obvious reasons, whether it was the city or the band you were playing with, the
Oh,
audiences.
I have a good one with Paquito in Germany. Okay, so this was in an open space, but it has like a balcony. And then supposedly after we play, it was like a disco, because in Europe, that's what you play jazz, and the club needs to support themselves. Okay. Anyway, so we started playing beautiful, and there was a lot of people there on the as an audience, and then we started playing like three tunes, and the people, the fourth tune, the people started like, man, it was like a complete change, and it was a ballad, and then Paquito start like slowing the band, the volume down, 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 down to the minimum, and then we start acting. We didn't play a note. And then Paquito was like doing this with no sound, and me also. All the drummers didn't play anything. And then people started clapping, thinking that that was part of the show. So that was, I still remember that one. And then we have a lot of things like travel for 9 hours from East Berlin to Paris to and because we lost the connection and we got to the gig like 2 hours later. We were playing a New Morning. That's a famous club in Paris,
Yes.
and the people was still there. And so when we walk in, it's a jazz club was like 500 people. We walk in super tired, and people. It was like the
So
end
they waited
of
for you
like a
guys.
World
They
Cup.
they waited for you guys to.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. And
That's
we were
special.
super
Yeah.
tired. But we played one of the best gigs was that. Yeah.
No, no, I love it. The fact that they stayed there, because some people, maybe an hour, but
Yeah,
they were wanted the music.
man. Yeah, we were like super impressed, and then it's like great. They give you that energy that we were, somehow lost already.
I've
Yeah.
heard Paris is a great city. I'm going to Paris in about a month or so, so I've heard
Oh,
it's a great
excellent.
city. I've never
Yeah,
been,
check that. New Morning. That's
definitely.
it. Yeah, that's the name of the club. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. I mean, you've worked with some of these great people. I'm sure there's a lot of people you would have liked to work with, and maybe now that but they're maybe no longer be alive. Or is
Around.
anyone
Yeah.
anyone that you've wanted to work with you wish you could have gotten a chance to?
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, Chick Corea, of course, but I play
Oh
with Chick
yeah,
Corea a lot. I play along Chick Corea all the time, so I can feel
yeah.
close. Yeah, we met in Lugano many years ago, and we have a nice picture with the Caribbean Jazz Project and him. But for example, I have the opportunity to play with Herbie Hancock. He sat in with Paquito's band in one time in Bern.
Oh,
Yeah,
you play
so
with
that was
Herbie and with
yeah,
Paquito.
he sat in with Paquito's band.
Wow.
And then we were playing tribute to Charlie Parker. So the Paquito said, okay, let's play Lazy Bird. Man, okay, so I was facing Harry Hancock, and then he played the first chord, and I said, great. And he said, okay, okay. And then he started going back to that's another level of musician.
I just saw
Uh,
him play maybe about 2 months ago, actually. It was brilliant.
Yeah, anyway. But I don't know, there's a few people. I have the opportunity to play with Cachao Lopez, the duets with the United Nations Orchestra. So I can't complain, that I play with a lot of people that I never thought I would.
What do you think you would
Yeah.
have been if you weren't a musician? Do you ever think about that?
I studied in industrial engineering in Peru as well, so that's something that I would pursue. But, my classes were at 7 in the morning, like statistics, and I was playing that gig at night, like in the rock club. So I gave up, 2 years of that. I said, man, enough. So I said, music is what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you
Yeah.
were saying, young people can also get discouraged, especially when they're going to school at Berkeley. I'm sure even today you still see Berkeley's changed a lot. Do you still see a lot of the students who need that push, that motivation in
Yeah.
a way?
Actually, some students have already a career, and they have a communications degree and so on. They go back to music
So they've
because
already
they're
gone to school and then they're
yeah
coming to Berkeley again.
because their families say, okay, you gotta get a real degree, then do whatever you want. So, okay, so they got a degree, and I have always find a few people like that at school.
Yeah, let's also talk about going on stage. You talked about playing in New Morning and these, all the festivals and stuff. Do you get nervous before you go on? Do you have to tell yourself like, okay, like take a couple of deep breaths? What happens before you go on stage?
Not really. I just let it go. You gotta
Yeah.
relax and then enjoy the first note until the last one.
I wish I grew up where you
Yeah.
grew up. Let me tell you,
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know. Paquito trusts the band, and then all the players. I mean, all the time that you have played with the band, that the leader trusts you, you feel that. So yes,
Yeah.
But
But
also,
when you were
also,
starting out, did you get nervous though?
yeah. But when I play the rock club, you say, okay, E7 funk. I said, okay, great. And so you have to listen, and it's important that you listen more than that you play. It's just something that I always learn. It's like the more you listen is the better you play because you probably end up playing 50% less of what you thought you're gonna do.
Yeah. Oscar,
Yeah.
this has been, tremendous. I'm so glad to see you and reconnect after this time. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you just one more question. So we still need inspiration to keep going every day and wake up with the positive attitude like you have, but it's, inspiration from life, but there's also like some music we listen to that can just maybe push us, keeps is there a piece of music you listen to that maybe you keep revisiting and that over the years that, just makes you happy?
Like I'm saying, I am listening to Peruvian music because I don't want to lose the roots. I don't play Peruvian music here in Boston, so that part I'm keeping. And then now that I think you have to create your own projects as well. So in this case, we are gonna do their metal tribute, and then also I'm doing a presentation at the ISJ, is an international acoustic association. That's gonna happen in June, and I'm gonna try to present a book that features the 15 styles of Latin America, but all based in different blues sequences or forms. Because I feel the lack of information about what brings us together. Uh, like if we go to a jam session, for example, it happened to me in Chile. So there were like 14 people on stage, students after the Berkeley Latino camp. And they say, okay, let's do a jam session. Okay, it's great. So whoever comes, they came to the stage and I say, okay, what are you going to play? And the kids talking, oh, I don't know this one. Oh, I don't know that one. 10 minutes of that. And I said, okay, let's play a blues. Believe it or not, in Chile. Okay, I don't know the blues. Okay, I'll teach you that in 2 minutes. So then we end up playing, and then something that is missing, I think, is the essence of improvisation, which is the blues in this case. And through that, I think that will help a lot of people, and then also feature the styles that will be able people to relate to both things at once.
No,
So
no, it
I'm
sounds like you
thinking,
really you want people are lacking that information. Even though there is too much of it, they're getting the wrong stuff and you want to guide them the right way. No, that's
yeah,
beautiful.
like Beatles, Rolling Stones, they all come from blues, even though it's like a 1-4-5 progression. But in this case, jazz blues and jazz approach
No, this
will
is
help
so
help them
Oscar,
out.
where can people, reach out to you or find you on what's your website and social media, that stuff? We just want just so we can share it.
Yeah, I have a website. This is like in standby, but there is a lot of information and photos. It's called Oscar Stagnaro Bass. Then my Instagram is Oscar Stagnaro and also Facebook.
So
Also.
just search your name.
Yeah, yeah, you find me. I don't keep up. I don't post too many things anymore. I only when related to music. I don't post hotel rooms or footwear that I'm eating. I'm not into. I'm not into that. I'm more into music. So if you have a question, I'll say you want to know about certain player, I'll put it on my Facebook.
Yeah, you
Because
could share this interview,
yeah,
So,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah, definitely, I'll do it.
beautiful. Thank you
So
so much, Oscar. I
my
really
pleasure,
appreciate it.
eh? Thanks for the opportunity and good luck in your endeavors.
Thank you.